representatives of the NGOs where the former life Esidimeni mental health care patients were transferred from life Esidimeni. I hope I'm clear. This is how the proceedings should proceed. We shouldn't assume that people are following the proceedings. They must be there. Can I find out if Dr. Sullivan has been following the proceedings? Mr. Wadley-Brunge?
My lady, yes, Dr. Sullivan is following the proceedings. Yes.
Where is he? Is he there? Can I see him? Dr. Sullivan, are you there?
Yeah? My lady, he has been following every day that we've been on.
Can I see him now? So that, you know.
Yes, we're not in the same location, so I'm just checking where he is right now.
Please check and verify, and then if he's there, he can just show his face or respond.
All right, thank you, my lady.
While you are doing that, the others, Ketani Matlangu?
My lady, Ms. Matlango has been following the proceedings and she's here present with me in my chambers.
Yes, can she just put her names on record? Okay. I don't see her. I just see the Dukes here. I don't know.
No, I'm here. Just take off your name.
Confirm, is that?
Yes, my name is Dani.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. The representatives of the NGOs, are they there? I know that all of them are represented. Are they there? Am I seeing a hand somewhere?
Yes, my lady. It was just it was me. I just wanted to make a correction of an error I did yesterday.
Before we go there, we've not yet. You will do that while we start with the evidence. I just want to check whether people are there. I shouldn't assume. We are not in a proper courtroom where I can see that everybody is there. I don't want to be criticized at a later stage. So should we take it that there is no one representing the NGOs? Yes. Who is that? Yes. Continue, sir. You are? Unmute yourself. You have just muted, yes. Continue. I think you are having problems there. We can't hear you, but I see there is a face. Any other representatives of the NGOs? Where is the evidence leader?
Morning, my lady.
Yes, is Mr. Late present today, or is that you alone today?
He's present.
Mr. Late?
Good morning, my lady.
Good morning. Have all these representatives or the owners of the NGOs been notified?
Sorry, my lady. I didn't hear the sound was off here. Can you just repeat yourself, please, my lady?
Yes. I'm trying to find out whether these other people who could be implicated in these proceedings are there to listen to the evidence. So I was just there is somebody there. I don't know just while I was trying to get hold of you, there is somebody here. I think she is having problems with his. Are you sorted? He has not yet introduced himself. Yes. Please introduce yourself. You should be having a problem with your sound. We can't hear anything that you say.
My lady, I saw the name Gerard Iman. I think he's one of the attorneys firms with the for whom Mr. Houdis appears in this matter, if I'm not mistaken.
Come again? I can't hear you. I don't know what's the problem with your...
The attorney's name that showed on my screen was Gerard Iman. And he's with that firm, I think it's RHK or RHK, the attorney's firm.
It's an attorney's firm. I don't hear the name because I don't think you are audible enough there.
My lady,
yes?
Mr. Human is Ramsey Weber, Mr. Celebano's attorneys.
Okay, but there is somebody this side, I think he raised his hand while I started talking about the representatives of the NGOs.
Yes. My lady,
So,
just to...
Yes.
Sorry, my lady, just to clarify, Dr. Celebano's image did appear on the screen. He wasn't very clear because he's got backlight behind him. I've suggested that they change that. But he is, I can confirm, there he is. There's Dr. Celebano.
Oh, this is Dr. Esidimeni.
Yeah.
So, all right, thank you very much. Oh, that is him. But now, the other concern that I'm having, why I'm asking Dr. The evidence leader, Mr. Late, with regard to the representatives of the NGOs, have they been notified of these proceedings? Are they part
Everybody has been notified, my lady. The initial meeting notice that was given for the 19th of April has been served on everybody, including all the NGO owners. And that is how far I could take it, and they have been subpoenaed as witnesses. We have received the returns of service. As far as I am concerned, I don't know whether they have to be physically in court because they are witnesses.
Okay,
normally a witness like outside the court before they testify.
Those who are going to testify, they are not supposed to be here. I just wanted to check if all of them are there so that we shouldn't assume, like, remember we had this problem with Dr. Manamela. So I wanted to confirm that they are there. If they are going to be
they have been informed of the inquest, they have been subpoenaed, and they are all witnesses.
Okay,
they are
no,
all on the
that's fine.
witness list.
If they are all witnesses, then that's fine. They are not supposed to be there for now. All right.
Correct.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That clears it. I'm happy I saw Dr. Esidimeni and Dr. Mahlangu. Now we're left with Dr. Manamela. Mr. Hutamu?
We have given instructions to Dr. Manamela to follow the proceedings through the link. What I've been informed is that, like, she was following the proceedings via YouTube.
As I indicated, I wanted to see his face. I've seen the faces of the others. Is there any reason why I can't see her also?
Yes, she should be joining. We'll give an indication once, like, she has connected.
Okay. Please let her be advised that she must join the proceedings with the others so that she shouldn't say at a later stage that she missed certain parts of the evidence. She must start with us, okay? The next issue will be the issue of the recordings. Remember, when we discuss this in our meetings, the evidence leader indicated that this was possible because they did it during the Burema trial. But we must understand that we are now on Teams, and there are some challenges. We cannot expect to get the record on a daily basis, the transcript on a daily basis. So it is going to be there, we're going to get it, but it's not going to be available on a daily basis. So we must just proceed. Those of you who are there, so that we can proceed with the proceedings, please listen attentively as we proceed. Irene, I see there is a hand, am I correct?
Yes, it's mine, Judge. I just
want
wanted to say something about the transcript. I've received the transcript from Monday. I am busy uploading it. So it appears that we will be getting the transcript a day after the day the matter was heard, meaning the one for the 19th, we received it today. So the one from yesterday will be received tomorrow. And then I think it will move like that, because they only get a chance to get the recording from yesterday this morning. So they will be busy typing it throughout the day. Maybe they can finish through the day and send the transcript, or they will send it tomorrow morning. Then I will upload it tomorrow morning. So there will be a difference of a day in between.
Okay, thank you very much. But I'm going to ask that there is an assurance that you will get the transcript. Please let us not prolong these proceedings because of other people who might not come to the proceedings and they would like to cross-examine and say they are waiting for the transcript. I hope I'm clear. I want us to proceed so that we shouldn't be wasting any other time. Ms. Govender, are you ready to proceed before we let me just find out if you were able to get whatever information that you wanted.
My lady, what happened is I wasn't able to access Teams, but it's fine. I watched the video on YouTube. So I proceedings and I'm up to speed, but there's a few things I need to place on record.
Before you do that, I think I must just warn the witness because he also wanted to say something. He wanted to clarify something before we proceed. This is Dr. Mkachwa. You are reminded that you're still under oath. You indicated that you wanted to say something regarding your evidence yesterday.
Yes, thank you so much, my lady. Good morning to you. I just wanted to correct, there was a question around a consultation with the NPA. I recall that I had a meeting with the advocate late. I just wanted to clarify that matter.
Come again? You correct that?
I was correcting, there was a question I was asked if I had a consultation with the NPA.
Yes.
And my answer was no. I recall I had a meeting with the advocate Lee together with my attorney. So I just wanted to correct that. Thank you.
My lady, I believe that you're on mute.
Yes, thank you very much. You may proceed.
My lady, before I commence with my cross-examination, there's a few things that I need to place on record emanating from the occurrences of yesterday. Can you hear me, my lady?
No, I think there is a problem. I don't know.
Can Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My lady, before I proceed,
Just a second. It appears there is somebody talking in the background. Can we all mute our mics? It's only mine that will be. Please remind me so that I'm going to mute and unmute so that I can hear you properly, right?
as the court pleases. My lady, there's a few things I'd like to place on record before I commence cross-examination, or if cross-examination commences, emanating from yesterday. My lady, I understand that there was some confusion yesterday, and I've had a chance to very briefly speak to my senior yesterday following the bereavement in his family. And following from those discussions, we'd like to place the following on record. Mr. Kennerek did address you yesterday morning, and I understand that there was a bit of misunderstanding because my instructions were to come on record yesterday, as soon as my matter had concluded, to ask for an indulgence to cross-examine today, not to immediately proceed with cross-examination. And I understand that that's where the misunderstanding had occurred yesterday. So I do apologize for that misunderstanding. As my learned friend, Mr. Watt Pringle, informed you yesterday, Mr. Hodes has a bereavement in his family. He is our team lead. And he, in terms of the Jewish religion, has to be in a period of mourning for 7 days, which is called Shiva. During those 7 days, he's not allowed to work, and he's not allowed to do anything other than remain in the period of mourning. So, my lady, I have prepared and I have gone through the records. But given that I'm not in a position to confer with my team lead, we need to seek your guidance on the way forward. My instructions are to reserve our right to cross-examine at a later stage. Alternatively, particularly when Mr. Hodes is out of his period of mourning, but in the event that Her Ladyship would like me to cross-examine to the extent that I can, we'd still like to reserve our right to cross-examine once Mr. Hodes is back in the matter. And we do apologize for this. It's obviously unforeseen circumstances, and we could not have anticipated this. My lady, the only further issue that I'd like to touch on is what Her Ladyship addressed this morning. Ms. Matlangu herself is, of course, a witness in these proceedings. But, of course, she needs to be in attendance because she needs to give us instructions on various versions that may be placed before the court. So I understand why someone like Ms. Matlangu would need to be present. So I just wanted to record that she's also a witness. Thank you, my lady. My lady, you're on mute.
Mr. Late, I'll start with you. Do you want to say something?
My lady, this is an investigation.
Can
And
you, I don't know.
it's in the interest of justice if
Yeah,
a
just a
witness was
just a
being
second.
implicated. So sorry, you're no. For some other reason, I can't hear you.
No, there's a problem with your recording. I think your
Yes,
sound
okay, I can hear you now, my lady. Yes.
your sound is very high. If you can reduce that.
Okay, better. My lady, you're on mute now.
Continue. You may continue.
I say, my lady, while this is an investigation and not a criminal trial, it's in the interest of justice that witnesses who will be implicated, like an accused, listen to the evidence that implicates them so that they can answer to it. I think in view of the fact that Ms. Kedana Mshlangu, as well as Manamela and Dr. Selebanu, has been warned in terms of judges' rules and the warning statements were taken from them. I don't have any problem with them being present and listen to the evidence that is used against them so that they can properly answer to any allegations against them that do not form part of statements that have already been presented to the defense.
I don't know whether the others can hear you. I think you're also not that. your face is not that properly visible, and even the recording, I don't know, but I can hear a bit of what you're saying. I'm just worried. I don't know what's happening today.
I don't know. Can you hear me now, lady?
Yes, I hope, just continue. I don't know about the others, whether they can be in a position to hear you properly. Continue, let's hear.
What I said is, my lady, is that I think it's in the interest of justice that all the, especially the 3 people from whom warning statements has been obtained in the criminal investigation, that they should be present while evidence is adduced, so that they can properly give instructions to their legal teams and properly answer to the other cases.
I'm going to interject again. I don't know, am I the only one struggling to hear Mr. Late? Ms. Kasim?
Milady, I can hear Mr. Late, but there's an echo.
Yes.
So I don't know if there's another speaker or something in the room where he is, but to address the echo to properly hear him.
All the speakers are off in our office at this stage. Is it better now?
No, it doesn't get better. It's really distracting me, I must say. I don't know if the others.
Maybe we should restart. If you ladies will just give me a few minutes to restart Teams and see if it goes better.
Okay, you may do so. Thank you.
Milady, if I may address the court on a particular issue while we're waiting for Mr. Late.
Yes, you may proceed, ma'am.
There was it was brought to my attention yesterday, and it was requested that I draw it to your attention that the home addresses of the witnesses, well, at least of the 2 witnesses that have come thus far, have been read out. And there's a request that the home addresses should not be read out in public. You're on mute, my lady.
Yes, I've just noticed that. I think the evidence leaders should be aware of this. That's why Mr. Lake is supposed to know what to hear your submission. It's very important. And I thought about it. It's just that I had lined up what I wanted to say today. Thank you very much for reminding me that. Thank you.
Thank you, Milady.
I hope the others would agree. Mr. Late?
My lady, I've restarted. Can my lady hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
What I was saying, my lady, is that it's in the interest of justice that the people who, especially the people from whom warning statements have been taken, that they be present at the hearing of the evidence, so that they can properly instruct the legal advisors or legal representatives in cross-examining the other witnesses, as well as to be able to answer to the
Just alerted me of a point that I also noted yesterday. As you were reading this affidavits, I think the home addresses of the witnesses shouldn't be read. Because
I did receive a message in this regard, and I will not do so in the following instances that follow up.
Yes, your colleague is also here in this. Let's avoid that.
She also.
The attendance of those who have made warning statements.
We have no objection, Milady.
Okay. Yes. Why I'm pausing, I'm watching Mr. Hutamu, and I take it that you want to say something, Mr. Hutamu?
Indeed, so, my lady. As her ladyship had given direction that all the witnesses, including the government officials, current and former, they must be part of the proceedings. We have previously indicated that we've been instructed to represent Dr. Manamela, and the department has considered its position insofar as the government's ability to represent.
Of Exhibit B.
Paragraph or page?
I think it is paragraph, let me just get the paragraph number. In paragraph 4, you mentioned that among the concerns that we had at GDOH's plan was timeframes and the project plan to place MHCUs in NGOs. Do you recall saying that in the affidavit?
That is correct, yes.
Why specifically were you so concerned about the timeframes?
So when the announcement was made public in October, the announcement was that all these patients were going to be moved by the March 2016. However, at the time of getting the project plan at the end of October, there was already patients being discharged. However, there wasn't a list of NGOs that they were going to. Those had not been identified or approved. Patients were being discharged before being assessed, as well as the facilities that they had chosen. Many of them were condemned buildings and they were not functional, and they would take a lot of work to be renovated. And those renovations, or even just identifying those facilities, had not yet happened. So we were very concerned that in such a short space of time, there was so much that had to be done, and that it seemed very rushed, and that it wasn't going to be in the best interest of the patients.
When you say it would not be in the best interest of the patients, does the nature of these patients play any role in it?
Absolutely. These are very vulnerable patients with severe mental illness. You know, they don't adjust well to change. A lot of these patients have been in Life Esidimeni hospitals for many, many years. So that's their home. And now having to get them used to, getting them assessed, getting them prepared to move to a new facility is a huge undertaking. As well as during that time, there was no communication to the families. They were not made aware as to what the plan was. They had heard it from the press. So their anxiety was very high. And these were the various concerns that we brought up, especially to this group of patients who had had a long journey with receiving treatment and being pushed from pillar to post. So a lot of these patients were stable, they had been doing well. So the idea of moving them was very concerning and was very sensitive.
Ms. Chambers, does the Mental Health Act and the regulations promulgated in terms of it prescribe a formula, if I may call it that, which must be followed when patients are considered for discharge?
Absolutely, and this would normally have to be assessed by a clinical team, and that's why there's a multidisciplinary team that would have to be ensured that the best interest of the patient
and their reintegration, whether it be moved to a step-down facility or any other facility, is considered.
And does a discharge of this nature, is it something that gets done in one move, or is it a graduated process? Is new surroundings. Can you perhaps explain that?
Absolutely. So it is very important. There's various steps that have to be taken into account. Everything from social grants to their treatment plan. You know, the facilities that they were being proposed to move to didn't have the kinds of multidisciplinary teams that were available at Life Esidimeni Hospital. Many of the NGOs don't have full-time psychiatrists, psychiatric nurses, physios or OTs, which a lot of these patients were expecting. So there's a whole process that has to happen over a long period of time, an adequate period of time that could help support the patient with these moves. That also included the family members, so that they were part of this, so that we could ensure that there were no disruptions and that there was an easy process going forward.
Now, you are aware, as also appears from your affidavit and your evidence, that once the service level agreement between the GDOH and Life Esidimeni had been terminated, the pressure, if I may put it in those terms, was placed on Life Esidimeni by the department to effect transfer of these patients. You're aware of that?
I'm aware. I was in many meetings with the various stakeholders where all of these issues were discussed. Yes.
Were the concerns, or let me rephrase that, you mentioned that various persons raised concerns. Were these concerns about the abbreviated manner in which the patients were to be transferred, was that raised?
Yes, they were in all the meetings that we had, where it was the Gauteng Department of Health, SADAG, as well as Life Esidimeni reps. These were all submitted in the meetings as well and submitted to the department.
If I understood correctly, the department's own clinicians expressed concerns about the manner in which the plan was to be implemented.
That is correct. They had, especially from SASOP, the South African Society of Psychiatrists, as well as from the Gauteng Regional Group, they had submitted letters already from June 2015 around their concerns.
And if I understand, they were, when I refer to they, I refer to the clinicians in the employ of the department. And if you could perhaps clarify that, the impression I gained from your evidence is that they were informed by Dr. Silvano and Dr. Manamela that they were not to criticize the department.
Yes, on a number of occasions in the meetings I attended, on 2 occasions specifically, both the board, who are clinicians at SADAG, were threatened by Dr. Manamela with a conflict of interest to state that they were government employees and they weren't allowed to go against the government. And in a meeting in January 2016, there was a discussion between Dr. Barney Silabano and Dr. Talatala from SASOP on the same issues.
Right. Now, you mentioned in your evidence that one of the concerns that was raised by NGOs, I don't know how many of them there were that they did not know the names of patients because they did not have medical records. Do you recall having said that?
That is correct, yes.
That will be given by witnesses from Life Esidimeni, and it is confirmed by what is contained in affidavits by some of the department employees who were placed at the various Life Esidimeni facilities, is that on discharge, or let me rephrase that, prior to discharge, patients who had been identified for discharge were assessed by a multidisciplinary team, with the intention to identify and match patients to suitable NGOs. Are you aware of that process that took place?
I'm aware that that process was underway, yes.
There will also be evidence that on some days, the instruction would be received that, for example, 10 patients were to be prepared for a specific NGO, and that in due course transport that would accommodate 27 patients would arrive, and then another 17 patients would have to be prepared in haste. You're aware of that as well?
Yes, that is correct.
The evidence was that despite all those challenges, each and every patient who was discharged bearing a sticker attached to their clothing, the patient's name, identity number, and a photograph of the patient. In addition, there would be a discharge summary. Also, what is referred to as a periodical report. Perhaps you can explain to the court what a periodical report is.
I just have to add, sorry, I was not aware that patients were transferred with stickers or identity cards. Many of the reports that we have, and even photos of patients being bussed at a very, very quick rate, they didn't have stickers or identification. Some were still in their pajamas from the morning. So no, I'm not aware of that kind of information that it's sent. There were some patients that were sent with their medical records and a packet of their medication for a week or two, but no, I'm not aware of any stickers with their names or identifications.
That will be the evidence. The periodical report, can you explain to the court what that is?
I think that would probably be best explained by the doctors that were preparing those documents. Unfortunately, I'm not a psychiatrist or a treating document.
Okay. It's MHCA 13, my lady, for the convenience of the court and the other parties. This can be found in the regulations promulgated under the Mental Health Care Act. It's form MHCA 13. And Ms. Chambers, if I'm putting the incorrect, or if I'm putting something to you that you don't know or can't comment on, then please just say so. But this provides for the surname of the user, the first name of the user, the date of birth or estimated age, the gender, the description in a certain category, whether it's assisted user, involuntary patient, inpatient, or an involuntary outpatient, etc. The name of the health establishment concerned, the registration number, the date of first admission of mental health care user, the mental health status, which is as a short statement of the mental health status before and since admission, since the last report, the present condition with special reference to any symptom indicating homicidal, suicidal, or dangerous tendencies, both prior to and since admission, is completed, the present mental status, the present psychopharmaceutical treatment, the condition, the diagnosis at the present date, family contacts, assisted mental health care user in terms of section 30, whether the user can express him or herself. In other words, Ms. Chambers, a very detailed, albeit abbreviated, history of the patient's both psychiatric and medical condition and the treatment. Are you conversant with this document?
I am.
And it will be that patients were discharged with those forms. Can you comment on that?
Unfortunately, in my experience and the reports we received, not all patients were sent to NGOs with that documents or those IDs. We also had NGOs that had reported receiving patients without that information.
Right. We'll be aware that some of the patients appear to have been moved from one receiving facility to another receiving facility without it having...
Before before I give you a chance to respond, I think Ms. Foster wanted to say something as Mr. Your surname again, Mr. Harry?
Van Bergen, my lady.
Yes, I'm getting here. Van Bergen. I think, are you done? Mr. Van Bergen, is that all from your side?
That's all for the moment. Thank you, my lady.
Okay. I saw Ms. Foster's hand. Foster, do you still want to say something?
No, my lady, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone who didn't have the opportunity before I go to Mr. Hutamo? Mr. Hutamo?
As the court, please, my lady. Sorry, I apologize.
Yes, I'm listening. How long could this take? Because we don't want to prolong these proceedings. We understand that it's very important that all these government officials be properly represented in these proceedings.
I do understand the concerns which have been raised by the court and my learned friends. I've been given an indication that, like, by the end of this week, a decision should have been made.
The end of the week.
Yes, my lady.
And in the meantime, what should happen? Because we have, government was informed about the meetings.
Her Ladyship will recall that at the beginning of the proceedings, the issue of legal representation on behalf of Dr. Manamela was not put on us. And at that stage, the government had not yet undertaken to assist her. It was only after the engagement with the court when suggestions were made that she rather approached the legal aid. But the evidence leader had approached us to find out if we would not be in a position to assist her now that we are already in the proceedings. But on consideration, that's when, like, it was observed that, like, there might be challenges if we have to represent all the witness with the potential of them meeting each other. But with the concerns that has been raised, we will try on our part to expedite the decision-making process. We will, as the proceedings will be continuing today, we will on the sideline put effort to make sure that we communicate to the court by the end of the day what decision has been made and how is the representation going to be handled moving forward.
Yes, but it's very important that all these officials should be represented, especially taking into account that, like, for instance, Dr. Mahlangu, I've been worried from the first day that she was not present. I haven't seen her even yesterday. I'm just being told that she's following the proceedings. I'm not even sure as of now as to whether she's present. You know, so the issue of legal representation is very important. And it might, okay, you want to say something?
I think you meant Dr. Manamela, not Dr. Mahlangu.
Hey, my apologies, Dr. Manamela, yes. I'm very much concerned because I don't see her, and I don't want us to have a problem later on, because we're not sure as to whether you will, whatever you have just raised with us, it's a clear indication that you will not be representing the interest of all of them, right? So in that regard, I would ask that the government expedite this so that I think the best way, we should adjourn these proceedings today and then maybe come back on Friday. I hope that by the end of business, either today and tomorrow, there should be an indication. And while you also sort out the issue of Dr. Manamela, that it is important that she attends these proceedings. It's a must, in fact, she should be there. I hope that is clear.
As the court please.
Yes, because if we proceed in this way, we might be caught up at a later stage with some serious problems of the things that we should have considered at the beginning. So I'm going to adjourn these proceedings. It's unfortunate Dr. Mkajwa is still on the stand. I do not want us to proceed in this fashion. Every party who's going to be part of these proceedings, it's important that all their interests are protected. So can you please, I don't want, when we come back, we're going to proceed. Government has been aware of these proceedings. We have been holding meetings. And so we're giving them at least today and tomorrow, and then we resume on Friday. I hope that is, and then
Friday.
Yes, the other issue is the issue of
sorry, Judge.
The issue of Ms. Govender.
Number of occasions in the meetings I attended, on 2 occasions specifically, both the board who are
Who is now talking?
My lady, like I see on the screen that it appears that Dr. Manamela has just joined. I don't know if the sound could be coming from her side, but I just note a figure with a name written.
Yes, I just see, but I don't see the face of the person.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that Dr. Manamela? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, I think she seems to be having problems, but I can't even see the face, but we just hope it is her.
I'm here.
Yes, where have you been, Dr. Manamela?
Pardon?
Where have you been? I have last seen you in the meeting that we had prior to these proceedings. I haven't seen you when we started with the proceedings on Monday, even yesterday. Where have you been?
I was almost with you, but through the YouTube, I was advised that I can listen through the YouTube. So I didn't miss.
Who advised you?
My legal team on Monday.
So when they say you are following the proceedings, they said you should watch on YouTube.
That's what I was advised on.
It's very important that you have to join so that we must be sure. If the proceedings were in court, you would have been expected to be in court.
Yes, my lady.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. There is an issue with regard to, okay, your legal team will take the matter forward. You will hear the discussions that we have been having regarding the representations with regard to you people and the other government officials. So we are intending to postpone to adjourn these proceedings until the issue of legal representation of the others has been resolved. And when I saw you here, and when I was interjected, I was trying to address the issue of the legal team of Ms. Mahlangu, by Ms. Govender.
Yes,
Ms. Govender?
Yes, my lady.
Yes, you have heard what the others have said, and it's not as if Ms. Mahlangu is not represented. what should happen is that when we resume, we can continue with cross-examination, and if there is anything that you want to clarify with your senior counsel, that is maybe something that can be reserved at a later stage when he is there. But I don't want us to leave the witness for far too long, because he has been on the stand the whole of yesterday. Right, so we are expecting you to continue with cross-examination when we resume.
As the court.
The proceedings will therefore be adjourned until Friday at 10 o'clock. Thank you very much.
As the court pleases.
Thank you, my lady.
The witness is warned again that he is still under oath. He need not discuss his evidence with anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, my lady.
You are all excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you, my lady.
Has just alerted me of a point that I also noted yesterday.